Murder style, y'all.
Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity? Ooh.
You know, as many times I've watched movies and reviewed them, I normally watch movies from a curiosity standpoint or from an opinion standpoint, a suggestion standpoint, or a critic standpoint. Not once has I watched something like this and I have felt this humiliated, this butchered, my time wasted in such a disrespecting manner, and above all, lied to, in the point where it is unforgivable, because that time that was wasted watching this film can never, ever come back. The Last Shift. Let's get on with the headline. A rookie police officer, Jessica Lauren, known as Juliana Harkavy, in The Walking Dead. I mean, it's in the headline. I guess they wanted to let you know that she's from The Walking Dead, a show that's now based on the show name itself because it has died since season 6. Some people said season 6, but in my opinion, I think it died after season 4. But I guess they wanted to just beef up the hype just because they want to let you know that she's on here. But anyway, back to the headline. Is assigned the last shift at a closing police station, ordered to not leave under any circumstances. Jessica learns it's home to the ultimate embodiment of evil and devoted followers. Cult leader Payman has haunted the station ever since he and 2 of his followers committed suicide on the night of their arrest. Now, I found out about this piece of shit on certain mainstream websites on streaming movie services. Now, this was one of the main top searches that came on Vudu in Movies to Go, and what made me want to check this out was the rating itself. 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. 100%. Now, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes like that. Ever since they have fucked me over with Climax, which is one of the worst films I've ever seen, including till today. But the rating surprised me, because I noticed that certain ratings increases and decreases, depending on people's opinions, their point of view, or just their accurate, valid statements on what people have missed. And trust me, Rotten Tomatoes miss a lot of shit. But for some reason, that 100% stayed. And it never went down after all these years. Now, I think this movie came out in 2014 and 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. But ever since then up till now, it is still 100%. Now, the audience score is a bit different ball game. But in my opinion, since Halloween Ends came out and that's a low rating, I think they need to swap scores, because Halloween Ends was terrible. It flopped. People think that it ended after the Rob Zombie films, but I think it ended after Halloween 2, the original one, after the 1978 one, because John Carpenter just lost his whole touch of horror to begin with. But the reason why I think that that should get a higher score, not 100, but a higher score, and they should just swap, is because Halloween Ends has done right with a couple of tropes, with a couple of elemental circumstances of us being entertained and scared. This fails on all aspects that you are looking for. First of all, let's talk about the chemistry of the film and what makes us get pulled in by everything that we're supposed to stand for of us watching this in the first place. The film is fucking boring. The film is stupid. I mean, for Christ's sakes, we don't even like the damn character herself. As soon as she gets into this fucking place, stupid things already happens. Cop busy cursing himself out. He notices her, and he already tells her what she needs to do. First of all, the smartest thing that she ever asked this cop was, why would you hire me to do something like this and you know I'm a rookie? Well, because in common sense standards, we need a rookie to do this, because if we have somebody that's common sense like or is smart, then it would end the trope of this film being in the tense level. That's what I was thinking at one point. And that would make me like the character, because as she goes along these circumstances of her being scared, her not being aware of what's going on, and us believing this by us being in the shoes of the character, it fails so many times, to the point where we don't even like her character. They try to show us things about her character, her father, but it does not earn well for us liking her, because so many things that she does on this film questions her authority of her being a police officer or just trying to survive. I mean, for fuck's sake, she doesn't even fucking use a gun. She doesn't, especially when she needs to, where she has to, or when she's at a situation where there's life or death. She only aims it. And right when we think she's going to, either she loses touch with the gun, either someone takes a gun from her, or she just doesn't use it at all. It makes you hate the character so much. So I'm sorry, Juliana Harkavy or Steve Harvey or whatever the fuck your goddamn name is. You being on Walking Dead does not mean a goddamn thing. I know people that has been on Game of Thrones and they're getting shit-faced because of the shit that they're doing later. You're one of them. You should have done better. Especially if you know that Mongolia is the main producers who made this damn film. They shit on every fucking thing that they touched, including the VHS films. After the first one, they should just left it alone, but they made another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and they keep sucking harder and harder and harder, to the point where the franchise is now a prostitute that is sucking dick to the damn ball sack. You are one of them, because your acting on here is just as bad. How many times you have to look at the goddamn camera to realize that the damn thing is recording? And there are times where you didn't even have to act that good. There are times where she's on the phone calling, or there are times where she is getting calls herself, and there are times where she looks at the damn camera to make sure that that it's recording. I understand that actors make mistakes. I understand, I get it. But at the same time, y'all didn't see this. Y'all just let the damn thing slide. That just shows me that you don't take this film seriously. So how can you expect me and people to take this seriously? Rotten Tomatoes seem to take it seriously since they gave this 100%. The story is just as even worse as the pacing. Now, I dare say that the pacing is boring, but I just feel like the story itself could have been done more justice when it comes to the intensity level of us believing the threat level of where she's at. But at the same time, we don't get no innovation of where this place is, the history of it. We know a little, but not enough to the point where this is a threat. I feel like this film should have been like a high school play or something. And then what makes it matters worse, because I've seen movies that is bad. I've seen scary movies that the acting is terrible. I've seen scary movies that the plot is just trash. But what makes it worse is that I can probably forgive it if the film was scary. The film is not even fucking scary. The movie is not even scary in no aspect at all when it comes to you being scared on certain levels. Like, do you like jump scares? They got jump scares here. Do you like build up scares to the point where you see the tension rising up and then it just happens? They got that here. Do you like scares that deals with creepiness or disgusting feels or just gore? They got that here. They even got claustrophobia. They even got prediction jump scares. All that is on here, but none of them plays out in the way where it delivers the fear to you. You see it coming, and then when it comes, you don't feel like it earns it. There is no creativity to the fear at all, to the point where you feel as if you are wasting your time watching this film. If not, you question yourself, is this even a film at all? Bottom line, This film is terrible. I try to dodge films like this. I try to avoid these type of accidents. But it's hard because when people, producers, directors, creators, or even actors themselves realize that they're making pieces of shit like this and they look at it as a masterpiece or just something that we should like or just a cash grab, they come to websites like Rotten Tomatoes and they pay them off to get a good rating, a goddamn 100%. Seriously, this is the worst scary film I've ever seen, and I've seen some bad ones. Let me see. Do I still got it? Let's see. Well, I do got it. This is a bad one. Now, the first trilogy of terror was great. Loved it. Worked in every sense of the word. But the second one shouldn't even have happened. I think they made a third one, and I want to stay away from that. But compared to this film, this one passed in all flying colors. But you want to give this 100% Rotten Tomatoes? And how can that be? How can you give this film 100%? In what category did it pass on? Acting? No. Chemistry? No. Dialogue? No. Story? No. Scares? No. None of that shit worked. None of it. And I get scared easily. To the point where it is freaking criminal. In fact, I was watching Law and Order, and there were some scenes on there that scared me. Me watching freaking Law and Order, and that scared me. Some scenes on there really scared the shit out of me, especially when they find dead bodies. You couldn't pull that off here, but you deserved 100%. This film fails on every single aspect. I was thinking about giving it a D or D minus, but that's only if it passed on certain things that I may have overlooked. But Rotten Tomatoes likes to cover these things up. And I don't know why. Because like I said, maybe they've been paid off, and that really brings my piss to a boil. Because you got people like me that watch these things in an entertaining level, and it gets deteriorated when you see characters do dumb things, and they be main characters. False acting, false believability when it comes to us being pulled in by the thrill of the story itself, because the story doesn't make no fucking sense, and then there's no good scares. Oh, God, man. Hurry up!